Hi, I'm Mike Lanzone, CEO of Cellular Tracking Technologies. Today, we're going to introduce to you a new system called Quick Connect, an easy and innovative way to attach transmitters to your study species. After 15 years of research, we developed a method to quickly and easily attach transmitters to your study species. We're going to go over with you today at least two different methods for attaching these, with the common methods for both Teflon and spectral ribbon. Here's an example of 4 different transmitters showing this new Quick Connect system. You'll notice 5 holes in the front and 5 holes in the back. The ones in the front are slightly diagonal on the sides, and in the middle, one that's about twice the width of the outer ones. The diagonals is for going over the shoulders of your study species and around the head. The back one, they're all straight, with the middle slit again being about twice the width of the outer two, because that's where the Teflon is going to be coming up through the middle and the knot will be. You can see this again on that side. One of the advantages of this type of system is all of the knots or crimps or whatever you're using to hold together your Teflon or your spectral ribbon are on the top of this ledge, keeping the bottom nice and smooth against the back. The other advantage is the Teflon or spectral ribbon that goes up through these two end slits on the front or the back acts like a little ratchet strap, kind of like the little straps on a canoe or kayak. So by passing them up and down and through the center, it keeps it tight without having any other implements like forceps or anything else trying to hold this while you're working. So basically pulling the center both together or one separate to even it out, you can keep it tight without having to constantly readjust, take forceps on and off, etc. All right, so we're going to head into my office and I'll show you 2 most common ways to attach harnesses to these transmitters. All right, for this, I'm going to have this out aligned like it's going to go on the bird. So this is going over the bird's shoulders. This is the straight piece that goes around below the keel. You're pulling this thing up in order. So this side is going to go through the one side of the transmitter, and that side through the other slit. If you use forceps, it might help you a little bit here to grab these things, but most of these things should just slide through pretty easily. Making sure you pull up without any folds in here is also important. Other thing you could do, especially if you have a hard time working with this or seeing or passing it through the holes, getting a packet of floss threaders at CVS or any local pharmacy really helps doing this. So you can see how I've went through the outer 2 holes. Now the other one, all you gotta do is start in the middle and push up, making sure again that you're not folding these as they go up through the center. And so what you're going to end up with, you can kind of see it here, the outer 2 go up, down, and through the middle, up, down, and up through the middle again. And this is why it's important to have these things even, because you can see these aren't even right now. So these 2 sections going over the bird's shoulders aren't going to be even. So simply pulling this thing and even out. And now one thing you'll notice, these are like little straps, like for putting a canoe or kayak on your car. See how hard it is to actually do that. So you can pull this very easily, or pull both of them very easily just by pulling up and adjusting how the fit on the bird without having it slip and without having to have any tools attached here. And if you get it too tight, all you gotta do is pull a little bit back down, pull it right out, and these will just slide freely right down. Now when you get this thing adjusted to however size that you want it, the only thing you have to do now is tie a knot. And the nice thing about this is a lot of the other styles, after you tie that knot's gonna be equal with the transmitter or riding down. Now this has a little shelf between the bird's back and that knot. So the top of the transmitter will be like this. And you can either super glue that knot, you can pass through it with a couple of passes of thread, or you can also use cotton thread and just attach them together if you want to have it come off after several years. But this way, and then when you get done, obviously cut off the tag ends here. But this is a really quick way to attach these. The back is a very similar fashion, and you can even have this thing really loose, all threaded before you go in the field. So you just put this over the bird's head, pull these tight, and you're good to go. And that's what I would do. So the back is the same way. The only difference is these are straight, not slanted. So I'm going to come up through the back and back down. And remember, the black part here on top here is the top of the transmitter, the white is the bottom, and it's just the plate for an example. Back down and up through the center. Same thing on this side. Again, making sure it's not twisted before you put it through here. Go up, down. And then I'm going to take both of these and go back up through the center. And definitely, I'd highly recommend saving yourself a lot of time and doing this before you go in the field. But at the end, you end up with a nice, elegant harness. And this is the K method. Again, it's not crossed. Very easy to tell you how straight this is by looking at the ends, and very easy to just say, oh, that's a little bit too loose. I'm going to tighten it up, one side or the other, to even it out, or both sides pulling at the same time. You can see how easy it is to adjust it either way. So I can now, once you have this thing all adjusted, you can just basically throw this in your box like this, and you're ready to go. All right, for this demo, we're going to be showing you a slightly different method where you use a single piece of Teflon ribbon or Spectra, and like as in this case with a breastplate. This is made out of thin leather. It's very strong. This has been used successfully in a lot of projects, where you can move this breastplate and adjust it really easily. I have circles cut in this, and for a lot of things, what you're going to want to do is, instead of the circles which I have in here to see really easily, you would put 4 diagonal slits in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out the exact same way we did before, but we're going to continue working across. So I go through the outer, then come across here. Then I'm going to come up through the center. And then what I'm going to do at this point is I need to make sure that these two ends are even. So I'm going to go like this and just pull them together until they line up. So there we go. Now they're the same length. You can adjust the length a little bit later, but you don't want to waste too much Teflon by cutting off too much. The only thing I'm going to do now is put a single knot in here and just bring this down so it's so the knot is even with the top of the transmitter. Now I'm going to take this same leg and pass it right through that same hole. And so what you're ending up with here is basically a knot that is sitting right in between those two holes, and because you want up a knot and then back down. So now I'm going to continue working across. I'm going to go back up through here. Again, making sure that this stays nice and not twisted. Go back through. This is how the front width is going to look now. Unlike the other method, once you do this, you're not going to be adjusting the front anymore. So the next thing is you're going to just set the transmitter down, and you're going to take your breastplate, and you're going to go through the top part of the breastplate and across to the bottom. Take the other side, make sure it's not twisted again. Go the opposite way. There we go. So now you have this. The breastplate can move up and down. Now we focus on the back. Move this around. Again, you want to make sure that this is not twisted around. So I'm just going to take my fingers, pull it so it's nice and straight. And I'm going to do exactly what I did on the other transmitter at this point. And this is the spot where you're going to be adjusting the actual harness length when you put it on the bird. So just really fast here, we'll get this through. Come back up through the center. Do the same thing with the other leg now. Make sure it's nice and straight. So now you got to this point, what I would do, so you have basically the outer two pass through here, the middle legs coming up there. I would stop here, separate these out, get them nice and long. And at this point, you're going to have these, as long as you want. What you want to do is make sure these are even. And if they're not, you're going to basically see how that's not quite even. I'm going to pull that tight. Figure out how much you need to cut off. And so right here, to make this even, I'm going to need to pull this a tiny bit up. Like that. So I'm going to need to cut off right there. So if I was going out in the field to deploy this, I cut that off. Now I have a transmitter that's, everything is the right length on this side. When you get out to the field, your transmitter will be all ready to go, just in your box, just like this. You take it out, you slide this over the bird's head right here, pop its wings through, and if somebody else is helping you, which they probably will be, you're going to take the two legs and pull this like this, get it adjusted, work it into the feathers, and then once you have this nice and adjusted and these lengths are even, so you know that both of these legs are exactly the same length, simply tie another knot there and finish it off. Adjusting this breastplate, obviously, you want this breastplate down about 1 or 2, depending on the species you're working on, finger lengths from the bottom of the keel, and you're done. And that's all there is. A lot of researchers attach the Teflon at the breast, and the new holes can accommodate that just as easily as the traditional 4 holes. And in fact, I think it's a lot easier because it's a more secure connection. And again, like I went over, the hole that you're passing it through allows it not to sit on top. So it's not sitting on the two sides of the transmitter like you would. Like typically what you would do for a breastplate is either have one long piece where you pass through here and tie a knot in the middle, or you'd have 4 individual pieces that you pass through here, and you'd have 4 tag ends for attaching. So let's take a look at the quick connect platform here. So as I showed a little bit ago here, the single pass of the ribbon through the holes, and this is when I did the example for just the one section with the breastplate, and we use this. You can do the same thing, the same exact technique for attaching at the breast. So you basically pass the ribbon through here and have the knot in the middle and keep these 4 tags. You'd have the same on both sides. You can do it through all 4 holes, which is a more secure connection and the knot's out of the way. Or you can simply just have an individual length of Teflon like this, and I can pass through here like that, and I can put a knot right here. And you could have 4 different lengths, and you can secure this knot however you want, but it's now going to be extremely secure as well. But like I said, what I think I would do if I was going to attach at the breast is you have 1 piece, you pass it up through this whole thing with a knot in the middle, and you measure out your 2 equal legs, and then you're going to end up with your transmitter with 4 equal sized legs sticking off of this, and then you're ready. You just have this sitting in your box and you're ready to go, and you can put the 4 pieces together at the breast, and it's just as easy or easier than the 4-hole method, and I think more secure. Thanks.